I think we are live, guys. Welcome to episode 121. We are live from the Rosen Centre Hotel in Orlando, Florida. Let's get the show started right now.
Hi, welcome to Hospitality Live with Rupesh, the hotel industry's top weekly resource for everything hospitality. Each week, you'll hear insights and the latest trends. Plus, get ready to be inspired by hotel leaders that are here to help you grow. Now, here's your host, Rupesh Patel.
Guys, super excited about this. I've been wanting this conversation for a long time, and it's finally here. I am live from the Rosen Centre in Orlando, Florida, and we're in the executive suite. It is beautiful in here. It's huge, amazing views of Orlando and all the theme parks. And this location is probably one of the best locations in Orlando. If you're going to a convention, if you're going to a theme park, anywhere you're going, this is the spot. I am super excited to speak with the president and COO of Rosen Hotels. He's a founder, Mr. Harris Rosen. But before then, we're going to talk about what we've been through the last couple months. So in December, I felt like, you know what? I'm a little stressed out and I couldn't do this because we did this 120 weeks in a row. And by the way, guys, comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if you've ever stayed at a Rosen hotel, and I'll pull those up in a minute. But listen, in December, after 120 weeks in a row, I just felt a little bit of stress in my life. And I'm sure you felt it too, where you're like, oh my God, I'm doing too much. And so I had to take a break. I took a couple weeks off and now it's March. So I took off 2 months, 2.5 months. But thank you guys so much. There are so many people, so many of you said, hey, listen, when is the show coming back on? When can I see you again on Wednesday? And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it soon when I'm ready. This is the day that I was ready for. And I'm super excited that this guest, my first guest of the year, is Mr. Rosen, because I've looked up to him as long as I've been in Orlando. I've seen his sign up anywhere you drive by. You see the Rosen sign, and so excited to have this conversation. Guys, every week I bring up a mindset, and this week's mindset is people who want to see you win will help you win. Remember that. Do you agree? Comment and let me know. All right, so we got people from all over the world watching, and I want to pull everybody up. Let's see if I can put Beth up. Oh my God, there's so many people on. Chris, good morning. Adele, good morning. Good morning to everybody. Guys, comment. Let me know where you're watching from. We got Daniel in the house. We got Daytona Beach in the house. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Suzanne, Kevin. We have people from all over the of the United States and world watching. Good morning from Dallas. Good morning to Sunny. Sunny, let's see. Johannesburg, Africa. I love that. Guys, good morning to all of you. And, every week we have on Sarah that I've missed the last 2 months. I were like, Sarah, we're gonna eventually connect again. So let's bring on Sarah with her Hospitality Minute.
Hi, I'm Sarah Dandishy from Ask a Concierge. Every week, I'll be sharing the latest hospitality and travel news and updates in a segment we like to call Hospitality Minutes.
What's up, Sarah?
Good morning. What's up, Rupesh? Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, it's been a minute. This is so exciting.
I missed you.
I missed you too. And I loved, by the way, your mindset, because that's definitely something, it's like we always want, it's always good to kind of like see who's in your inner circle and really supporting you when you kind of go for your wins. So that was a great mindset.
Well, you've been busy traveling. You've been all over the place like I have these last 2 months. Where have you been?
Yeah. So actually I was, just around the corner in Sri Lanka. For those that don't know, Sri Lanka, small island just south of India, which was phenomenal. Then zigzagged over to the Dominican Republic because that's obviously on the way, DC. And then tomorrow I fly out to Boston. So I was so excited about today because I'm like, I actually happen to be home, so let me join you while I'm home. But definitely, it's been a good time. Lots more travel coming up, but it's been really good to get back out there and see all the different parts of the world and different countries as well too, as we're kind of like navigating, moving forward right now in 2022.
Absolutely. Well, let's get the hospitality minute going.
Yeah, perfect. Some interesting things that are out there. So love this. This is kind of exciting, for the big Marriott brand. They actually are celebrating the debut of their 8,000th property. If I can say that, I swear my mouth isn't awake yet. But this was kind of cool because this property marks number 8,000 for them. And what's interesting is it actually is going to be located, or it's located in downtown Bethesda. Now, for those that might know, or maybe are, work with the Marriott company, they are relocating their headquarters to Bethesda. So this is really exciting. Big, huge 12-story hotel. And I know that they're going to be looking to kind of using that to test out and try new things as well too. I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to say a flagship, but certainly it's certainly a big deal, and especially right there in Bethesda, Maryland. So another interesting thing, and I mean, we've talked about this in all different realms of hospitality and travel. A lot of industries are having trouble retaining talent, and interesting what some of the airlines are doing. So some U.S. airlines are actually offering some big perks to attract new workers. Two in particular, United Airlines, for example. They're actually offering their Chicago-based positions in different departments up to a $10,000 signing bonus to join the carrier. They also, in the Chicago area, Southwest, is bumping up starting salaries as well too. So we've seen that their initiatives are going to be starting not only in Chicago, but Washington, D.C., San Francisco, Denver markets. Why do I share this? Because I know not all of us are necessarily in the airline industry, but again, interesting to see what they are doing to attract and retain talent, especially right now. So always interesting to learn what others are doing. All right, next quick topic. Celebrities, well, mainly athletes, getting in the whole hotel game. Floyd Mayweather, for those of you guys that might know, has joined A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, as an investor in CGI Merchant Group's hospitality fund. So they're actually a Miami-based fund, and their portfolio already includes the Gabriel South Beach and the Gabriel Downtown in South Florida. Why I wanted to bring this up is they're actually looking to purchase, and we'll see whether this ends up happening, the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. I actually had a chance to tour that property. Very excited to see who is going to take over it next, because I think that more people will actually get a chance to see it with new ownership. So that was really, really cool. Interesting to see what's out there. And then the final thing, final topic, just buzzing right through these for you guys, spring break. It's around the corner. I don't know how many of you have plans. You're probably working. Interesting stats. 37% of Americans are planning to travel during spring break of this year. Why is this important? This is an increase from 29% who were traveling for spring break just last year. Now, generally, Americans are looking to stay domestic, and they're looking for beach destinations, understandably so. Also, why they're staying domestic is because, well, you don't necessarily have that much time for spring break. But all in all, people are ready to travel. Some kind of popular destinations, North Carolina's Outer Banks, all the Florida destinations from Key West, Destin, Hilton Head Island, and then also even San Diego as well too. So definitely an exciting time. It's good to see that people are wanting to kind of get back out there, especially considering the global situation of the world, but it's looking positive for us here domestically. So there you go. That was that was more than a minute. Hospitality, couple minutes, but there you go.
It's so good to have you back on. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me everywhere online at Ask a Concierge. I also have my book out, Hospitality from Within. You'll be hearing more about that again too. Ooh, look at that. Just put that link right up there, Rupesh.
If you guys have not bought the book, hospitalityfromwithin.com, guys, comment. Let me know if you've purchased the book in the comments right now. And guess what? We're doing some really cool things coming up in the next month or two that we're going to be announcing here in the next couple of days. So if you guys want to tune in and see us live in action and maybe have dinner with us, please tune in. Please follow Sarah at Ask a Concierge everywhere on social media, guys. Until March 16th, which is our next live, I guess, that I'm going to announce at the end of the show. We'll see you then, Sarah.
Yes, you will. Thank you, guys.
Bye. All right. Sarah's awesome, guys. Please follow her. Everyone. All right. People are saying they love the book, got the book, gonna buy 2, bought it, loved it. Yes, I've purchased a bunch that I'm giving away. Now, I am in the executive suite at the Rosen Centre. Super excited to talk to this leader, this icon in our industry. And before I bring him on today, we're featuring, and I wrote this down because I was super nervous about today's conversation. I said, today our featured guest is an icon, a legendary hotelier in Orlando, Florida. If you've ever visited Orlando, you've certainly seen his sign all over the place. Rosen Hotels and Resorts, with over 6,000 hotel rooms. Rosen Hotels and Resorts have hosted the largest events, conventions, conferences, celebrities, and families alike. Today, we're going to get inspired and learn by the man that not only operates hotels, but has done so much for his employees, the local community, and humanity itself. So please help me welcome the one and only Mr. Harris Rosen. Come on over. Let's get together real quick. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
That's the one and only.
The one and only. And let me see if I can get a little bit closer.
Way, I think we have closer to 7,000 rooms.
7,000 rooms. That is amazing. And, I've stayed at almost every single one of your hotels in the last 25 years and attended conferences at your hotels the last 25 years. So this is a true honor.
I have to say thank you very much. We appreciate the business.
Absolutely. Now, let me see if we can get this on. All right, can everybody hear us? Comment, let us know if you can hear this live. All right, there we go. I think we can. So my first question is, how did you get into the hospitality business? How did you get into hotels? Tell us about your early career.
It's a long story.
We would love to hear it.
Well, I grew up in New York City's Lower East Side.
Okay.
My dad's family came from Ukraine. My mom's family came from Austria. Dad worked at the Waldorf Astoria. He was a sign painter and was involved in safety engineering. And one day, Dad was sitting with me and he said, Harris, would you like to help me on weekends? I said, gee whiz, Dad, that's when we're playing all of our sports, stickball, punchball, Ringley-Vio, John Antoni in the streets in New York City. He said, well, I'll pay you. I said, really? For doing what? And he mentioned to me that he was asked by the catering department if he could do his beautiful handwriting on place cards instead of just having them printed. They loved his writing. And they said, yes, but we have so many banquets. Can you handle it, Jack? He said, I'll do it on Saturdays and Sundays. He said, so I need you on Saturday. And here's what you do. Dad will do the card in pencil first. Then he'll go over it with India ink with a crow quill pen. And it'll be beautiful. But somebody has to erase the pencil. That's your job. Somebody has to fold the card. That's your job. Somebody has to put the cards in alphabetical sequence in a shoebox. That's your job. Somebody has to go with me to the banquet room where they're going to hold the event and give the shoebox to the appropriate person. I said, Dad, it sounds wonderful. How much will you pay me? He said, I'll pay you a penny for every card. I said, wait a second. If I do 3 cards, you're going to pay me 3 cents. I'm going to miss out on all the games my friends are playing. He said, no. Sometimes I do 2 or 3 or 400 cards for a large banquet. And I said, Dad, that's $3 or $4 or $5. Do you know how many milkshakes I could buy? Do you know how many chunky bars I could buy? You know how many Spaldings I could buy? He said, yes. And I said, I'll do it. Okay, so here's the story. So that was my first introduction to hospitality. What we had to do, though, was take the shoebox to the appropriate ballroom. We got on an elevator. In the elevator, we'd meet some very interesting people. General Douglas MacArthur lived in the towers. Dad introduced me to him. Jackie Robinson came in one day, the first African-American in the major leagues. I said, hello, Jackie. One day I walk into the elevator and the most beautiful blonde lady was there with a very tall, distinguished looking gentleman. And I said, Dad, can you introduce me to the lady? He said, of course. First, he introduced me to the guy. This is Ambassador Joseph Kennedy. Didn't make any difference to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Marilyn Monroe. Now, I have to confess this. If I close my eyes now, I can feel her hug.
Oh, that's a great story.
So now let's go to high school. I went to music and art high school. I had some of my dad's artistic genes. He was a sign painter. I painted when I was a youngster. I was accepted to all of the liberal arts colleges. But I kept thinking about Marilyn. I kept saying, if you could bump into someone like that, or Jackie, or General MacArthur in an elevator in a hotel, that sounds so exciting. I said, Dad, would you be upset if I applied to a hotel school? He said, of course not. That'd be wonderful. So we did some exploration, and we found that Cornell had an excellent school in hotel management.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I was accepted. To this day, I have no idea why they accepted me. I was a good swimmer in New York City, one of the top backstrokers, and maybe they needed the backstrokers very badly. I don't know what it was. So that's where I went to Cornell and majored in hotel management. Vietnam was heating up a bit, and I did want to be drafted. I wanted to go in as an officer, so I went through ROTC
Mm-hmm.
and volunteered to go overseas. And I spent a year in Korea and then 2 years in Germany. And then I started my career in hospitality. And here we are today.
Absolutely. And so in
And
1970,
Marilyn Monroe, all because of Marilyn Monroe.
that is an amazing story. And you know, everyone gets their beginnings from somewhere. So I love that your father kind of inspired you to get, or brought you into the business.
Yes.
And then you just got inspired. You got wowed by this different world, this experience that every day is a different story, right? Every day is a different experience in the hotel business. And so how did you turn that experience into your own hotel company?
Well, that's a long story. You don't have enough time for the whole story. But anyway, when I left the military, I went to work at the Waldorf, which was a Hilton hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And they put me on their management program. And I enjoyed that. But in Dallas, I received an offer from one of the very, very successful businessmen in Dallas who just acquired a hotel in Acapulco. He took me there and he said, would you like to manage this? And I said, yes. Sadly, after I was there and working for about a year, a new president, H.A. Ferrillo, changed some important rules, indicating that if someone owned real property and they were not Mexican citizens, they could not own more than 49%. My boss dropped 100% ownership to 49. A new group came in and I was fired.
Mm.
I went from Mexico to California to Disney. They were located in California.
Yep.
And I started working for Disney here in Orlando. I thought I was doing very well. My responsibility was the hotels and some other responsibilities, reservations, which I created, a central reservation office. I hadn't received a pay increase in several years and was called into my boss's office. I mean, I can close my eyes and remember every minute of it. I was so excited. I knew I was going to get a nice pay increase. And Mr. Allen started off by saying, you've done a very nice job for us. We appreciate it very much. But what does but have to do with it? We don't think you'll ever become a Disney executive. He explained to me why, and he said, so we're going to have to terminate you. I was shocked and very sad. But I said, now I have to do something myself. I have to find something that I can control. You may remember the oil embargo many years ago, I think in the early 70s. Hotels in Orlando were struggling so badly. I wanted to be in the business here in Orlando because with Disney and SeaWorld, I thought things would really one day be very, very successful. And so I started looking at hotels. Occupancies, those that were still open, were in the 20-25% range. I saw a little motel right off I-4 and International Drive. I drove in. I asked if I could speak with the general manager, and the young lady said, no, he's not here. But the owner is. I said, oh, may I meet him? And what's his name? His name is Mr. Morgan. I was waiting in the lobby, and the gentleman came out. And he introduced himself to me, and I said, I'm Harris Rosen. He said, Harris, what can I do for you? You're looking for a job because we don't have any jobs. I said, no, sir, I'm looking for a hotel. He said, a hotel? Yes, I would like to buy one. He took a step towards me, put his arms around me, and hugged me, and said, God has sent you. He took me into his office, had a long conversation. He was very emotional. He said, I don't know anything about the hotel business. I'm in real estate, but this business is terrible. I haven't seen my wife and 3 little girls in a long time. I have to live here. I can't afford to bring any people on. So I said, well, can I look around? He said, of course. I did, and I thought it was a lovely little property. He said, do you want to buy it? And I said, yes. He said, I'll call the lender from Philadelphia, and they'll have a chat with you. He came several weeks later. He called me, and I met the lender out of Philadelphia. And he said, Harris, would you like to buy this hotel? And I said, oh, yes, I really would. He said, how much money do you have? I said, I have $20,000 in the bank. Shake my hand. He said, we have a deal. I said, really? He said, yes. Now, of course, you have to assume a mortgage. I had no idea what that meant. Mm-hmm. I said, for $20,000, I'm buying a hotel. Several months later, I walked in, and I was the owner of a little Quality Inn, 256 rooms. A good friend of mine, an attorney, congratulated me and said, Harris, how much did you pay? I said, $20,000. He said, no. What was the property worth? I said, they mentioned something about a mortgage. I said, really? What did they say? The mortgage was $2.5 million. I said, you have to pay that. I said, what? I have to pay it? I gave them all the money I had. I said, no, that's part of the deal. Mm-hmm. I said, how much do I have to pay every month? And he shared with me what I had to pay. I was in a state of panic. But I had an idea before I bought that little hotel where the business really was. I used to see a lot of buses around Orlando, but I didn't see buses at hotels. I wondered why. I called some friends of mine in the bus business, and they said, well, business is not really great, but we can get gas because gas stations love us, and we're a priority. So I said, if I visited the motor coach owners and shared with them that I just purchased a little motel and gave them really a very nice room rate. Would they come? He said, of course. I hitchhiked to New York and met with two very, very large motor coach owners and operators. And I brought along a little card. I said, you tell me what room rate you want to pay for the next 3 years, and I will honor it. And they said, what do you mean? I said, just write the room rate down.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll honor it for 3 years? I said, yes. The rates range from $7.25 to $8 a night. I visited two major companies in New York City, and then they drove me to New Jersey and met with the Medico. And then from New Jersey, they drove me to Massachusetts, and I met with Paragon Tours, and everyone signed a little card. I then sent them contracts, and the buses started to roll in. It was amazing. I still do business with some of those companies today.
Mm-hmm.
The rates were terrible, but I was there living in the hotel, and I had 5 or 6 or 7 jobs. I was a general manager, I was a housekeeper, I was director of sales. I did everything. Buses were all over our property. 3-year contracts. I did have a visit one day from a gentleman who was in finance, and he said that he had financed a property down the street, and they couldn't pay, and they were going bankrupt. Would I have an interest? And I said, no. He said, please, we'll make you a very, very nice offer. I sat down with them. We made a deal that was incredible. I would manage the hotel for 5 years. The management fee they would give me would be applied against the mortgage. Also, whatever profits I generated for them, they would add to that. So at the end of 5 years, whatever the total was for management fee and profits that I gave them, they would deduct from the value of the property.
It was a down payment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As it turned out, in the 5 years, I was able to pay off the debt. So in 5 years, I went from someone who was panicking to someone who now owned one hotel debt-free and another hotel that was booming. And that was the beginning. And today, 47, 48 years later, we have 7 properties, close to 7,000 rooms, and no debt.
No debt, and that's inspirational.
Let me share why. My 2 granddaddies came over, and I had shared this story with you before, and we talked about business. They said I had something very special in my genes, and they said that I was going to be a successful businessman, but don't ever borrow money. I go to bed that night, and Mom always tucked me and my brother in. She tucks me and said, why don't you have your pajamas on? Why are you wearing your jeans? And I said, because my 2 granddaddies said I had something special in my jeans. She said, I'll explain that to you later. And that was the beginning. And here we are today from Ukraine. So sad what's going on there now. And coming to America, and my mom's family from Austria-Hungary coming to America, living between the East River, Little Italy, the Bowery, and Chinatown. Here we are today. Now, I know America isn't perfect, but the opportunities are really quite extraordinary. working hard is really important. And so I love America. I was a first lieutenant for 3.5 years. I love serving my country. And about 33 years ago, sitting at my desk, I heard a voice, Harris, you've been blessed. I blessed you. Look where you are today. But now it's time for you to offer a helping hand to others. And that's when I started the Rosen program of adopting underserved communities and providing free preschool and free college with everything paid for in Tangelo Park and Paramore. That's when I adopted the Jewish Community Center. That's when I decided to go to Haiti and help my brothers and sisters in Haiti. And that's also when I decided that if I had an opportunity beyond that, I would examine it. And that's a long story about how we started the Rosen College, but that was another example of me listening to God's words and saying, yes, it is time for me to give back.
Yeah, and giving back is a big part of what you believe in and what your company stands for.
Yes.
And I'm just going to talk about it. I mean, I think it's important that, you're doing something very unique, and you're doing something different than most hoteliers in the United States or even the world. You started the UCF's Rosen School of Hospitality.
Right.
Why? You're already successful. Why did you start that?
That's a good question. Dr. Bazan, who was the original dean at the Hospitality College at University of Central Florida, called me one day. I had never met Abe. We sat down and had lunch at Rosen Plaza. And he said that he was planning on leaving Orlando, that he wasn't happy at all with the Hospitality College at UCF, and was so disappointed that they weren't really paying much attention to the college. I listened to his story and I said, Abe, what if I build you a college? Would you stay? He said, oh my God, yes. Well, at about that time, I had purchased a very large piece of land from Universal, and I was negotiating for another 20 acres because I thought I might need it, in addition to the 200 acres I had acquired. And I managed to acquire the 20 acres. And I decided that was the perfect place for a new hospitality college.
Mm-hmm.
So we built it.
And here it is, right?
Oh my God.
There it is.
It.
This is it.
That's it.
Yes. And this is the Rosen School of Hospitality. And, we have new people coming into the industry. Now, the last 2 years, people have really thought twice about entering into the hospitality industry, but you have a school here that's giving people opportunities to learn and learn skills that could bring them on, especially with Orlando being a big.
Cornell, of course, was the leader, one of the top hospitality management colleges in the world. We are now ranked number 1 in America and number 2 in the world.
Wow.
And before the pandemic, we had over 4,000 students, and that number will grow again. We were ready for an expansion, and we've put that on hold for a while. So yes, it's wonderful. And I, on occasion, go over to the school and chat with the kids and tell them my story and say, it doesn't make any difference where you start, it's how you finish.
Oh, I like that. It doesn't make a difference where you start, it's how you finish.
That's right.
I love that. And, moving on from the hospitality, people that get into the industry, then they get a job at your hotel, but then you provide some extra benefits for them, including RosenCare. Now talk about RosenCare, because you're the industry leader doing this. Not a lot of people are doing this, and you're actually saying it's pretty easy for a lot of big companies to provide this extra well-being and health for your associates. Tell us about RosenCare and what it means to kind of build this healthcare system that is providing so much more than you could from an outside healthcare system.
Yeah. Well, it started about 32 years ago. We were doing things in a traditional way. We had an insurance company that was providing our healthcare coverage for us. I wanted to work very hard to keep our associates healthy. And so we started a multitude of health programs, and our hospitalizations declined dramatically. And so I was really excited to hear what our costs would be in the coming year. I anticipated a very nice reduction. It took me a number of calls to find the proper person at the insurance company, which was a little bit frustrating. When I did, I said, I'm so excited to hear what our costs are going to be this year, because I know that we really have been working very hard to keep our folks healthy. And he said, well, your costs are only up 30%. I said, this is Rosen, this is the Quality Inn and other properties. This was, I think, in 1991. And he said, no, your costs are up 30%. I said, why? He said, well, the group that, I said, what? The group that you're in. What group am I in? I'm an independent guy. I don't have a group. He said, well, we put everybody in a group. I said, no, I don't want to be in the group. He said, you don't have any choice. At that moment, I said, I have a choice. He said, what? Adios. And I said, now where are you, Rosen? Now what are you going to do? How are you going to provide health care for your associates? And I said, we'll do it ourselves. People said, Harris, you're crazy. You can't do that. What will you do? I said, well, we'll have our own little clinic here. Where? Well, we've outgrown our little accounting office. Finance is moving. Instead of doing a daycare there, which will only accommodate about 20 or 30 youngsters, how about if we put a clinic there, which will accommodate all of our associates? Who's going to operate it? I'll find a doctor, a nurse practitioner, and an admin. Good luck. It was not difficult. It wasn't difficult at all. And we had a wonderful lady physician and a nurse practitioner and an admin, and we were in business. Our first year was absolutely extraordinary because I negotiated personally with hospitals and with physicians, and I did much better than the insurance company would because it affected me personally.
Sure.
And I turned out to be a pretty good negotiator. And here we were now with our own little program. In the first year, our costs were down 50%.
Wow.
A magazine, Florida Trend, heard about this, and they put me on the cover talking about something they called RosenCare. And that was the beginning. And here we are today with our own medical center, which has expanded dramatically.
Yes.
If you work for Rosen and you're in the hospital, the most you will pay is $750 for 2 visits. After that, you don't pay anything.
Wow.
A little baby preemie was born about 4 years ago, weighed about 2 pounds. Baby and mom were in the hospital for a long time. The bill, I know because I paid it. was $1,041,000. Mom and Dad paid over 2 years, $750.
Wow. Wow.
If you work for me and you have a prescription and you go to Walmart, 90% of the time I pay for it. And I think our medical center is fantastic. We have a wonderful, wonderful staff there.
Mm-hmm.
The hospitals we do business with, or Orlando Health, are wonderful. We have a wonderful relationship with them. All of the docs that we do business with, we know personally, and they treat our associates a little bit differently, hopefully, than others. And so we've created a sort of a new paradigm. We are now managing a healthcare system for a very large public sector entity.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first year, we saved them $20 million.
Wow. Wow.
So yes, I know the vast majority of people are anxious about doing what I did. It's a subject they don't know much about, but we can help. Nothing to be scared of.
Yeah.
Nothing to be scared of.
And that's RosenCare. I mean, you have your own healthcare system that you built for your associates, but not only that, you help other organizations with kind of building their own thing. So you're saying that other organizations that have a substantial number of employees can do the same thing and save a lot of money, which is...
Yes, I mean, that's interesting you said that, because I didn't mention that. So how much have we saved since we started the program about 30 years ago? We have saved almost $500 million.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a big savings in the last 30 years. Even in the last 10 years, imagine how much your company can save just by going out there and taking that challenge.
And of course, our associates benefit. I mean, imagine staying in the hospital and receiving a bill for $1 million and paying only $750 twice. After that, you don't pay anything. That's really quite extraordinary. And we do it because we love our associates. And we do a lot of different things for them. We have education. If you're with me for 3 years, you or your children can go to college here in Orlando, and I pay tuition. And of course, a healthcare program and a multitude of other things that are so important. But we don't talk about our employees. They're our associates, members of the Rosen family. Yeah. And we've been doing that now for 48 years.
Yeah, and that's amazing. This is an amazing, guys. If you love this conversation so far, hit the like button right now and comment that, this has been inspirational. This has been inspirational just for me. Now, I know there's a lot of things that you're passionate about, including giving back. And we kind of touched on it earlier. You've given back to, I know, the Indian community, the Jewish community. You've given back to a lot of different communities just here in Orlando. And I know because I've seen it personally as you've helped all these different communities out. You've also helped out, the community in a whole, especially Tangelo Park and Paramore. Tell us about that, because, this area of Orlando has been depressed and they have no opportunity. You came in and said, listen, I'm giving everybody an opportunity. What is that opportunity that you're giving them?
Well, once again, this is something that happened about 29 years ago, after I promised God I would give back. And I wanted to help in education. So I called a couple of friends of mine, Sarah Sprinkle and Bill Spoon, both education experts. And within a very, very short period of time, we created what is now the Tangelo Park program. Free preschool for all of the kids in the neighborhood. Work with them, tutor them, work with their parents, get them all engaged, make sure that they graduate from preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, and high school. High school graduation rates were in the 40s. Now they're at 100%. College wasn't even something they considered. Now we're getting 78% graduation from college in 4 years. It has changed the neighborhood. The sheriff had a conversation with me about 5 or 6 years ago. We met at an event, and he said, Harris, I want to share something with you. And I said, yes, sir. He said, you know, I was a deputy, and you adopted Tangelo Park. The change was amazing. I said, really? How would it impact crime? Because crime was terrible. He said, crime is down 78%. We now refer to Tangelo Park as a quiet oasis. And Paramore is going to change also, Harris.
Yeah.
I've only had Paramore for about 6 or 7 years. And so the great tragedy, though, is that in the 30 years we've been doing this, only one other company has adopted a community. Travel and Leisure, Hospitality, adopted Eatonville recently, with us helping them in every conceivable way, but them financing the Tangelo Park Paramore program, free preschool and free college. Others have expressed an interest, but so sad.
Yeah.
So incredibly sad. This can change. I know it sounds absurd, but this can change America. No doubt about it. If every underserved community in the United States of America had a Tangelo Park program, we would not recognize this great country. Why we can't get some of the big guys, and we've spoken to many, not of the big guys, but their companies, to encourage them to do this. The savings would be amazing for them. No. And it's rather sad and depressing that in all of the United States of America, there are only 3 Tangelo Park programs.
Right. So our goal is to get the word out, and to try to spread this this hope to other communities. Is that what your goal is?
Exactly right.
So guys, learn more about that on the Rosen website.
Exactly.
And finally, this is dear to your heart, and this is your family, but these are your kids. Now, I know you're very passionate about this one topic, and it's, your son passed away. Adam Michael Rosen Foundation passed away, several years ago from cancer. And, we are both affected by cancer. My mom had breast cancer 2 years ago, and we went through that whole process of chemo and all of those things. So we understand. So, your passion is to find resources for cancer through the Adam Michael Rosen Foundation. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, he actually passed away about 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
And he was just such a remarkable young man, the most fit young man I think I ever knew in my life. He worked out on a regular basis. He was just incredible. And he was diagnosed. His trainer called me and said, Harris, there's something wrong with Adam. He weighed 185 pounds and was benching about 370 pounds. He said, I suggest we take him to a doc and just see if we can find out what it is. The doc said, let's do an MRI and check. And that's when they found a cancer in his forehead. We went to the University of Florida in Gainesville and took him there on a regular basis. They tried everything, but were not able to save his life. I met with Dr. Mitchell, the senior physician at University of Florida, who was interested in brain cancer. We had a long conversation. He said that he wanted to focus laser-like on brain cancer and shared with me his ideas. And what intrigued me were 2 things. One, he said, we're going to invite other labs to participate. So instead of being competitive, we're going to be collaborative. I love that idea because there's too much competition in healthcare.
Sure.
And he said, I want also to make sure that the care that we're providing is the right kind of care. I'm not sure. He said that radiation, that surgery is the right or the best treatment. So he said, my idea is for the body's own immune system to do what it's supposed to do, find the bad guys and kill them. I was intrigued by that. And so I said, can I offer some financial help? He said, we need it desperately. And so we made a contribution.
Good. And that's the Adam Michael Rosen Foundation. It's amr/foundation.com. If you want to learn more about it, if you want to contribute to it, if you want to be a part of the solution and try to find some more resources.
Let me say this. We gave Dr. Mitchell $12 million, 10 from me and 2 from a dear friend. The progress they've made is really quite extraordinary. You first have to teach the T cells to identify the bad guys. That was a challenge, but I believe they have discovered how to do that. Number 2, once they discover the bad guys, they have to learn how to kill them. They need a weapon to do that. He showed me a video. I'm not sure where he got the video of a T cell looking at a cell swimming by, moving towards it, and then eating it all up. And I said, what's that? And he shared with me what it was. And he said, this is what we're hoping to achieve. And we're making great strides. If indeed this is something that they can really create, an opportunity for the T cells in our body to see the bad guys and then to go out and kill the bad guys, radiation, surgery, chemo. No, let the body do what the body is supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Why only brain cancer? How about every kind of cancer? How about other diseases? So we're all so excited about it. At the University of Florida in Gainesville, they have the Adam Michael Rosen Brain Cancer Lab, and they have the Adam Michael Rosen Brain Cancer Clinic. And we visited there recently, and the workers are just so incredibly excited. And so this could really prove to be a breakthrough in cancer research.
Right. And you want to learn more about that, go to amr/foundation.com. You're so involved in so many different parts of not only the hospitality industry, just in community. What keeps you going every single day? What you shared with me before we started that you haven't had a day off in 2.5 years. Why?
It's been a very difficult time. Being debt-free has saved our lives. I just want our associates to know that I'm here, not taking any vacations or days off.
Yeah.
I'm available 24/7. I talk to all of the general managers every single morning. We review the previous day's reports. People know I'm accessible. I can always be reached. During these difficult times, that has been, I think, very important. We're a little bit different than some of the other guys. The owner is intimately involved. When we have tours of our hotels, I pop by and say hello. Mm-hmm. I think people really appreciate that.
And what I really appreciated was, for the last several years, my family has been attending Thanksgiving lunch at a Rosen hotel. And this was November of last year. This is just a couple months ago. My family attended a Thanksgiving lunch at your hotel at Shingle Creek. And I was so surprised to see you walking around and engaging. And I was like, who is that gentleman? And it was Mr. Rosen. This is the first time I met him. And here it is. This is Thanksgiving of past Thanksgiving. He was walking around asking guests how they were enjoying their lunch. And that just blew my mind. I thought he would be enjoying lunch with his own family. Yet you're here thanking people for their business.
Well, my family does come, but I say, I got to go. And they enjoy it. Yes. And we spent a little time together.
Yeah. You know, I love this conversation. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I have one last question.
Yes.
For the folks that have been, you know, resilient these last 2 years, for your associates that have been kept, you know, keeping it going, for everyone in the industry, in the hospitality industry, is there a light at the end of the tunnel for us?
Well, I'm glad you used that expression. Yes, I think about 2 months ago, because December was a wonderful month, I said there was a light, what I refer to as a flickering light.
Mm-hmm.
And then Omicron, and the light was flickering very badly. But now February, still flickering, but not so much. February has been not like it used to be, but we're making great strides. And so keep the faith. If you're religious, pray and say, God, please help. If you're not, hope for the very best, and it'll come. I do believe that we're on the right path. At this moment, March looks very good. The concern I have, of course, is Ukraine. I feel an attachment there, even though I was never there. But my last name is Rosenowski. In Ellis Island, they cut the Ufsky off. My mom's family was Rosenhaus from Austria. They cut the house off. And so a Rosen married a Rosen. But on occasion, I do close my eyes and wonder if instead of Rosen hotels and resorts, what if we were Rosenowski hotels and resorts, especially during this time when the poor Ukrainians are struggling so.
Absolutely. Well, our heart goes out to all of Ukraine, and thank you so much for this amazing. Like, I have goosebumps on my hand. This has been an amazing journey that we've learned from, you know, from your humble beginnings, working with your father, and now to what you have here. I mean, you're just a true legend and an icon in Orlando, and I love everything you're doing. And guys, the website is, let me pull it up, rosenhotels.com. If you want to learn more about Mr. Rosen and his hotels, and over 7,000 rooms. And then, of course, his foundation is amr/foundation.com. But you do so much more than for the industry and for Orlando itself. So on behalf of the entire community in the hospitality industry and Orlando, I want to thank you so much for everything you've done. Guys, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure speaking with an icon, a legend here. If you've loved this content, if you've loved the stories, hit the like button and share this with your team members. Get them inspired. If you're looking at building your own community, if you're looking at building your own hotel company, or if you're looking at helping out a community that needs help, please go out there and get inspired and share this story with your associates and keep it going, guys. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much to Mr. Rosen here. I know he's busy, and thank you so much for the entire team here at Rosen Hotels for the opportunity to share live from their hotel the experience of Mr. Rosen and what his journey has been. Guys, thank you so much. Our next show is March 16th, which is a Wednesday at 10 a.m. We're going to be talking about the sneak peek into looking at the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference, which is happening in Atlanta the week right after. So please join me there. And then, by the way, I'm hosting an event March 22nd in downtown, or I was going to say Orlando, downtown Atlanta, please join me. You can actually go to rupesh.co/meetup and learn more about that then. Guys, until then, thank you so much. I'll see you guys next in 2 weeks, March 16th. Bye. Please take care of yourself and each other. Until then, I will see you later. Let me see if I can find the closing. There it is. Bye, guys.